Hello everyone and welcome to this webinar organized by the customer experience team. We're happy to have you. I hope this webinar is useful for you. This webinar is about mastering the layers, so trying to unlock the smarter and faster shopping within the next level search optimization. So, brief introduction, I'm Carmen, I'm from the customer experience team. So the customer experience team is in charge of any questions or issues or training or bonding sessions that you would like to have. We also have these several webinars that we're organizing to try to improve our client experience. Okay, well, starting with the webinar, what are layers and how do they work? Basically, a layer refers to the search interface overlay that appears in your website when a user interacts with the search bar. So, how we can find this in the admin panels is through the search, layer settings, and configuration. Let me briefly explain you this with the panel. So, we are here on the home page. We go to the search. Then we scroll down and here in layer settings, we open this and here is where we have all the information for the layers, okay? So we have three types of layers. We have full screen, floating and embedded. We also may have like a fourth layer, which is a combination between the floating and the embedded. So let me show you some examples. Here we have the full screen layer. As you can see, when we type shorts, this full screen layers appears, which allows a fully immersive experience with the clients. Here we have another example. We open the search, we type shirt, and here we can see some of the results already coming up. Then we have the floating layer. Again, this is an example where you can this remains with the website interface, and that's like an add-on with the floating layer where you can see all the products basically. Then here is an example of the embedded layer, which integrates with a section of your specific website. As mentioned, you can search for a specific product and you can see it as part of your website. So, the fourth example that I was mentioning previously, the floating plus embedded, where you can see when the initial screens appears, we have the initial context, popular searches, recommended products, and then when you click on enter, you'll have the embedded layer here. So, how do we create these layers that we were speaking about? Going back to the admin panel, here we go, create new layer. Here we type the name of the layer, test. Then we go continue, and then it's where you can decide between which layer to use. So let's use full screen as an example. Then you create the layer and that would be it. Here if you scroll down, you will have our test layer. You can set it as your active layer, and here you can have access to all the configurations that we will speak later. So yeah, as a brief recap, choose name and type, and then you have all the options to customize. Then we jump into layer setting. We're going to do like a brief recap of all the layer admin panel, and we can see all the features that we have inside it. So jumping back to the layer panel, we go to configuration. Okay, here's what it would appear. So first we have layer options. Here you have the type of the layer that you have chosen and the characters to display results. What is this? This is basically that you're telling Doofinder that with only one character, as in with only one letter in our search term, we want our products to appear. For example, if we go to our Doofinder demo, we can see that if we type only one word, results are already appearing, okay? This is very important because this counts towards adding the request, that we will have a look at it in deep later, okay? Then we have the layer appearance. Here is for all the options that we have in terms of customizing the layer. So we have the logo that we can add here through a URL. Then we can also choose between the primary colors, and then all the features that we have in terms of the product card customization. We have product availability that will appear here. As you can see, if it's not in stock, it would appear out of stock. Then we have discount percentage, that it appears here. Again, you can play with all the colors that are displayed here. And finally, we have the add to cart button, which appears here. Okay, then we jump directly into the search sequence. Please, this is important to bear in mind that we have the desktop and the mobile version. So the search sequence, we have the initial content. What is this? This is basically when we go to our demo store. If we click on the search button, here we will have an initial screen. This is basically what we call the initial content, where we can see the recommended product and the popular searches. Then we have brands and categories. So again, this is part of a pre-filtering that we have in the initial content. So if we go to our demo store, we type here, we start typing the letters, we can see that in the left-hand side we already have brands and categories. And this, bear in mind that is not directly in our results page. Then if we click on enter, we will have the original filters. Okay? Then we have the recommended product query in initial results. This is a feature that we have active that for me it's very important. So this is basically that in Doofinder we have selected recommended products that appear here. These are based on the highest clicks that products are receiving. But we can edit this. Imagine that we have a new collection upcoming and we want this to be displayed here. So we could do this through custom results. Basically, what we do is we create a custom result and we choose all the products that we want to be displayed in the recommended products. And we give it a specific title and a search term that people would not look for. For example, the title recommended products and the search term recommended products. And then we go back into layer settings and then here we type the title of the custom result, which in this case is recommended products. And we do the same for the if no results. Then we have multi-index results, which basically enables multiple sources of content. For example, if we activate this, we can see that we have the product and the collection. This is the case when a website or a client has not only one tab, but also have product, blogs, specific patterns of the products, etc. More further on, we will see some examples regarding this when we do the recap of the whole layer sections. Then if we scroll down, we have the complements for each layer. So we have the visual search, that is basically you can search by uploading specific images. Please bear in mind this is only available in the enterprise plan, as we can see here. Then we have the suggestions, that is basically some suggested terms that come with the search terms. For example, if I type on Nike, here we can see suggestions, Nike, Nike Sportswear, Nike Performance, etc. Then we have the guided search. Again, this is only available for the enterprise plan, which is basically a pre-filtering that we do with the searches. If we type here Nike and we go click on enter, we can see here filter by brand, Nike, Birkenstock, Calvin Klein, whatever. So this is what we call the guided search. Then we have voice search, quite self-explanatory. You can search through your voice. And then we have this new feature that we call search more like this. So basically, what is this? This is basically, here we go, the Doofinder demo. We search for a term, let's say jeans. If we click on enter, and here we click on similar results, we will see all the products that are appearing that would be similar to the one that we have clicked on. How Doofinder reads this? Basically through these attributes. So it identifies title, color, brands and categories. By default, it's identifying similar matches between different products. You can add as many attributes as you want, and you can also delete any attributes if it's necessary. Okay? Then lastly, we have the advanced customization. So this is basically in case that you would like to, for example, the objective would be to replicate your internal results page into our product card, add specific tags, etc. We can do this through this customization that is done through CSS. If we go here, yes, customize, we can add all the options available. Again, we will look into this deeper in the recap. So going back to the presentation, we will do a brief recap of all the whole layer settings and main panel. So general information, we have the layout, type of layer that we have, characters to display that we mentioned previously, some appearance in terms of product card customization, primary colors, etc. The search sequence as mentioned, that it first goes the initial content screen, brands and categories as filtering, and then if you type on enter, we can see all the results. So As mentioned, to utilize the multi-index feature, you must first create separate indices for each content type. So here we have some examples. We have product category, blog post, page, etc. And here, as mentioned previously, is the practical example that we can see with one of our clients. We see here indexing for women, for men, for children, and specific design. Then, as mentioned, we have several complements. Visual and guided search would be part of the enterprise. In order to activate them, you basically click on these buttons and save the configurations. Lastly, as mentioned, so all customization related to the layer, CSS, product cards, and other personalization can be managed in this section that we have here. So here are some examples that we have. You can add the different color previously into the product, and it would look like this. We can also add specific tags, for example, if it's a new product or if the second unity would be in a reduction of 70%. Please bear in mind it's important to have all this information in the product feed. If not, we will not be able to have these customization options. Then another example that we have would be the personalized flags, also the add to cart variant where you can add many items as possible, etc. Then again, we also have another option where you can add into the product feed to specific image, for example, image link 1, image link 2, and when the mouse appears, when the mouse goes over the product, it will change the image. Perfect, then we are jumping into filters. So the filters functionality is used to narrow down search results based on the fields of your data feed. So, the ability that Doofinder is providing to filter these results is crucial for e-commerce sites because it helps users locate the products more efficiently, leading to an improved user experience. We have three options for filters. We have terms, visual, and frame. Here we have some examples. If we see here for categories, we see the term version. For brands, we see the frame version. And for price, we see the range. Where can we find this information? In the admin panel. So here again, we go to search, we go layer settings, and then we jump into filters. So here you can see all the filters you have configured. In order to add a filter, very straightforward, add filter, write the name, select a field. Again, all the filters must come through your product feed. So if we go back to filters, for example, we will choose the brand. Here you can see all the information that goes behind the filter settings. So here you can see, as we were mentioning, the visual preferences. Here you can change in terms of if we want a specific color or if we want to upload images in case of brands, the layout that you're giving to the filters, and here you have all the options that are available. So going back to your presentation, the next step would be sorting options. Basically, this is to customize the order in which search results are displayed. So the sorting options are telling Doofinder how it would like the results to be displayed in your results screen. We consider by default certain criteria. So these are price, title, and relevance. Relevance in terms of the score of the product, that we order it from highest to lowest or from lowest to highest. The title, if we want it to order alphabetically, and the price, that you can order from highest to lowest or lowest to highest. So where can we find this? In the admin panel. Again, we go to the layer settings, as I was mentioning previously, and we go to sorting options. Here you have all the configurations necessary and you can adapt them as preferred. Going back to the presentation, then we jump into translations. Translations are a crucial tool for tailoring your store search interface to a multilingual audience. So it allows you basically to translate all text elements that appear in your search layer. For example, labels, buttons, and messages. So for example, I see a lot of clients that are asking why are the recommended products in the initial contact appearing in English when it should be in German. So this would be the example where we could change this setting into translations. So basically in the admin panel, as I was mentioning, where can we access this? Go into translations. Here we have all the languages that we have configured. So for example, if I'm in the German website and I see that recommended products are coming in English, this is where here I would type recommended products and I will put the translation. Again, here you have another example for the out of stock. That, for example, in this case, we want the out of stock, instead to appear out of stock, we put in order, like you can demand it in order. So, what are the benefits of having these configurations in layer settings? Why are so many stores using layers and seeing better results? First of all, brands ready customizable. So basically, as I was mentioning previously, the idea would be that the search function appears as a part of your website, not as an add-on that we have added. So the idea is to replicate all the customization that you have in your internal website to the search function and to the product card template, okay? Then allow the customers to have a smoother user journey, as mentioned, through filters and all the options that we are giving. Also, that it's mobile-friendly functionalities, as we were mentioning previously, so we have the options for desktop, but also for mobile. And well, all this generates a better user experience that hopefully can be translated into increasing the statistics of conversions and click-through rate. Lastly, the objective is to have a faster and smart searches, okay? Okay, so that was everything from my side today. I hope this was helpful for you guys. So yeah, as a brief conclusion, basically by implementing and customizing the Doofinder layers, you can significantly enhance the user experience. And yeah, this will possibly lead to higher satisfaction and conversion rates, okay? So, if you have any questions or you would like to go more in depth, we also have our support page where you can access the layer settings version and you can see all the information that we went over. And also my colleague here has been writing some of the questions that you have been asking. So we will go into this now, okay? So, frequently asked questions. The first question, how can I add the reference number in the product card? So this is a very popular question that we have between our clients. In order to find this information, we would have to jump to the Doofinder support. Here we type, for example, add SKU. And here we have all the information that you can customize in the product card template. In order to add the reference number, you basically copy this script into the admin panel. We go layer settings, configuration, we go back again to customization, and in this case we would copy it in product card template. So it's important to know what's the difference between the product card and the CSS. In the product card is for any rules that you want to add. For example, we want to add the SKU in the product card. And the CSS is for, in case of any specific design that you would like to change. For example, I would like the font to be pink. This would be the case of CSS. However, this case is adding a specific rule or modification into the product card. So we go here, customize, and then we will paste the script where would we like it. For example, below the description. So we paste it here. And then it's very important to know that this information that we have here, getting, we will have to get it from your product feed. For example, if the name of your product reference is ID, then we will have to change it for ID. Okay? I hope that was clear. Please remember that each layer has its own product card template. So if you go back to appearance, I'm configuring this customization in my active layer in the full screen. But if you would like to do any test with any other of the layers, you would have to do configurations in each layer. Okay, so I hope that was clear. Let's go to the next question. Is it possible to reduce the number of requests on the usage for my store? Okay, as I was mentioning previously, there's certain configurations that can increase towards the request. So I'll briefly show you which are. If you go to layer settings, we go to configurations, the characters to display result is one of them. In order to reduce the number of requests, we would increase this to 3. This is basically saying that in order for results of products to appear, we must type on 3 characters so that we can see results. Okay, this will decrease the number of requests as it will start counting with the third term instead of the first one. Then we also have suggestions down here. These suggestions here, that if we have them active, this will again also consume towards having more requests. Also another configuration that we have is the initial content. When we open this screen, it's already demanding one request. So this is another option where we could try to reduce the requests. Lastly, we have the multi-indexing, that again, this also counts towards the request, as it's searching not only on one indices, but on many indices. Therefore, it's also increasing the number of requests. So these are options where we could try to reduce the requests, okay? Okay, well, I believe that you might have more questions, so in case that you want to discuss any specific case, you can contact our team, customer.success@doofinder.com. And as mentioned, I hope this webinar was helpful. We will upload this into the admin panel of Doofinder, into the homepage. In case you can revisit this, you have it there, okay? So that was everything from my side. Thank you everyone for coming. I hope you have a wonderful day. See you soon.